Oh, well, I mean, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, let's just go ahead and hard edit that out of the video. Hey, welcome back, MOLDEES family. I really wanted to make this video in an effort to tell you guys how sorry I am, because as a content creator, and an entrepreneur, you know, a lot of the, one of the biggest things that gets in the way of success is procrastination. I'm gonna go ahead and say that and leave that right there, okay? And no, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm kind of attacking myself, if we're gonna boil down there. I have so much going on in my personal lives outside of these Instagram channels that I have, and I try to do a really good job at pretending like I have everything in check, and I'm not trying to turn this into an emotional video or anything, so let's steer off of that and back towards the apology. Again, I'm sorry I haven't been creating content, so I'm sorry you guys haven't been learning from me, and therefore I have to apologize for myself, because in a way, I'm trying to do this to forward my passion as my job. And that means I've been failing at my job. So let's get into a little bit more about what you are seeing on my screen. So after a terrible failure with the BRF cakes that I was trying to help a friend out with, I just reverted back to popcorn. I have way better luck with popcorn. Popcorn has just been my go-to. You can see here, there's a black layer. If you're new to the channel or just new to mycology in general, what you see in this jar right now, this would be called a grain layer. This is the primary nutrient source for your mycelium or spores. This down here is called a substrate layer. And a substrate layer is sometimes nutrient rich, but could be nutrientless medium that after colonization is achieved, you're gonna go ahead and fruit into or recolonize into your substrate medium. And after a small period of time of recolonizing, you're gonna see some rhizomorphic knots forming, little balls forming. And a lot of people I've noticed start to freak out at that point, thinking that there's contamination, and a lot of the times there's not, and you're good to go. And those are what we call pins. Pins are awesome. We want pins. Pins turn into mushrooms. Mushrooms turn into good times. Good times turn into the memories we get to tell our kids about when we're talking about how delicious the mushrooms were. How's that? I don't know, it looks like let's move you down, guys. Alright, you can see a little bit of what's going on. Alright, cool. So what I have here are these little jars that I have made. And they are, I'm gonna make a note of this to any new growers. You see how these jars, they're, God, don't make fun of me for that, cylindrical. There's no shoulders on it. There's no tapers on the jar. The jars are straight. And that is because there's going to come a point when everything inside this jar is going to have to come out of this jar. And any shoulders or any tapers that go towards the tip of the entrance exit of whatever we are using is going to complicate getting all of that good stuff out. So that's why we're using straight shoulderless jars. You'll notice over here, if you haven't yet, from when we had the camera like sky high, that this is just a jar of only popcorn. No black layer of that stuff we were calling substrate. And that's because, well, it's essentially going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to fill up a big tub of black stuff that we call substrate. And we're going to let that sucker rip like Beyblade and just colonize an entire tub. We're not going to cover that in this video though. We're going to keep this pretty basic, and we'll cover that on another one. I've been talking a lot. I got my gloves on. That's really cool. But you know, it's always good to periodically kind of give things a spray and a wipe down, especially when you're working in a room like the one I'm in right now. And well, I do have my fans and stuff off. It's good to keep things, well, you know, it's good to practice good things. For this next part, we're not going to so much focus on the three over on this side with the black substrate at the bottom of the jars. We're really only going to focus on the popcorn one, and there's no particular reason. It's just more of a beginner-friendly tech. We're not, that way we don't get into other terms like spawning and fruiting. We'll just talk about colonizing. We'll just talk about the basic materials you'll need to go ahead and get yourself started, where to locate them, and a step-by-step process of how to do it. So let's go ahead and whip out a notepad if you need to, or whatever, and let's learn how to grow some mushrooms. All right, back at you, because like I said, we're gonna give things a quick little spray down. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Start with your hands, since it's really one of the most important tools that you have in mycology. Okay, after we've gotten our hands nice and rubbed down, what you're going to see in this bottle is actually 70% isopropyl alcohol. Why I use 70 and not 90 and nothing under 70, it will be explained either in the details of this video, or I could probably just do it in another beginner-friendly video. But there is a reason why we use 70, and I only recommend using 70 throughout your entire mycology process, or your home mycology endeavors. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and spray our surface area, some of the stuff we got inside. And I'm gonna come back and lay out what exactly you're gonna need for this little fun home experiment. Guys, MOLDEES back at you with what I believe is just about everything you're gonna need to have yourself set up for a nice healthy popcorn tech growth. As you see, we have a brand, any brand, of yellow popping corn. Why yellow? Because it's a mushroom's favorite color. No, I'm just kidding. Yellow because I believe it has more sugars in it, and that's what our beautiful mycelium is going to be just feeding on. Okay, so go ahead and get yourself some yellow popping corn. Now, remember I said we have these fancy pants jars of ours that we're going to be using because they don't have what? Like, just like me, they have no shoulders. So here's our nice jar with no shoulders. You may have noticed the top of my jar looks like it's like fresh out of the hospital. Well, there's a reason for that. So let's explain what's going on here. This right here, I will also have a link for these guys in my video description. These are self-healing injection ports. You can find them anywhere on Amazon. I do believe if you use my link, you can get a little bit of a discount. I'm not sure about that. Plus, you would be helping me out. 3M bandage tape. We all have seen this stuff. It comes in most first aid kits. It's that paper tape. It has to be paper tape. You can't get the clear adhesive one. It has to be paper tape. And it doesn't have to be that. I'll post another video of another modified lid that I do. It's a little bit upgraded. It's an upgraded version of this one. This is just, however, a more friendly version of my mushroom cultivation lids. This is to help jumpstart your grow at home for the least amount of money. So that's the jar and the lid explained. Popcorn. Let's get into popcorn. Why popcorn? I have found that you have increased colonization times. No one wants to spend a month and a half watching a jar of mold in their closet. Sometimes it's sad and it hurts your feelings because you get to the end and you realize it was never the mold you wanted to be growing in the first place. 2, why does it do that? Because there's more space in between the kernels, allowing more oxygen and just allowing less actual surface area for the mycelium to colonize. Why yellow? Yellow, I believe we explained it. It's a little bit more nutrient rich. I believe it's the sugars in it that provide that for us. And I've seen that the kernels are a tad bit bigger than white corn. So when we do get down to describing how to prepare this tech, I got you right now, big guy. You'll see, well, you won't see here because I don't use white corn, but the kernels get about 3 times the size of a white kernel. I gotta let my lab partner out. I'll be right back, guys.